Welcome to our countdown of the 20 silliest trucks of all time. Prepare to be amazed as we showcase a collection of the most outrageous and unconventional trucks that have ever rolled off American assembly lines. From the massive International CXT, which is more akin to a small building than a truck, to the bizarre Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6X6. Designed for military use, but made available for civilians, these vehicles challenge everything you thought you knew about heavy-duty trucks. You'll encounter absurd designs which prioritize speed over utility with its V10 engine, and the Chevrolet Kodiak, a truck that feels more like a monster than a vehicle. Join us as we dive into the quirkiest creations that prove heavy-duty trucks can be just as silly as they are powerful. Buckle up for a wild ride through the most eccentric trucks you've probably never seen. Number 20. The Kenworth K100. Aerodine, introduced in 1976, is often regarded as one of the silliest trucks due to its distinctive and somewhat whimsical design. While the Cabover configuration was a bold move aimed at improving aerodynamics and maximizing cargo space, it resulted in a truck that appeared top-heavy and ungainly. The K100 featured an unusually tall sleeper cab that towered above the chassis, giving it a cartoonish silhouette that many found amusing rather than imposing. This exaggerated height not only affected the truck's aesthetics, but also raised practical concerns. The high center of gravity made the K100 feel less stable on the road, leading to a perception that it was more of a novelty than a serious heavy-duty vehicle. Drivers often joked about its teetering appearance, likening it to a giraffe on roller skates. In essence, the Kenworth K100 Aerodine stands as a testament to how ambitious design can lead to memorable and sometimes silly results in the trucking world. Its unique look has earned it a place in automotive history, not just for its engineering, but for the laughter and curiosity it sparked among truck enthusiasts and casual observers alike. Number 19. The white Freightliner COE, 1960s to 1980s, is often considered silly due to its distinctive flat wide front and large grille, which gave it the appearance of a rolling wall rather than an aerodynamic vehicle. This design choice, while functional in some respects, resulted in a truck that looked awkward and clumsy on the road. The COE's cab-over engine layout was intended to maximize cargo space and provide better maneuverability, but the result was a truck that seemed more like a caricature of a heavy-duty vehicle than a practical workhorse. The wide front end and prominent grille created a visual profile that many found comical, as it lacked the sleek lines typically associated with more modern trucks. Instead of cutting through the air with grace, the white Freightliner COE appeared to bulldoze its way down the highway, making it look less efficient and more like a novelty. Its boxy shape and exaggerated proportions often led to jokes among truck enthusiasts who compared it to a fortress on wheels rather than a streamlined transport vehicle. Number 18. The International DCO 405 Emeryville is often considered a silly truck due to its narrow cab and unusual proportions, which contributed to its lack of popularity in the market. Designed as a cab-over engine COE model in the 1950s and 1960s, the Emeryville featured a compact design that prioritized cargo space but sacrificed driver comfort and aesthetics. The cramped cab made it difficult for drivers to maneuver and work comfortably, leading to complaints about its impracticality. Additionally, the unconventional proportions of the DCO 405 gave it a somewhat awkward appearance on the road. Its narrow profile, combined with a tall, boxy shape, created a visual imbalance that many found unappealing. Instead of exuding the robust presence typically associated with heavy-duty trucks, the Emeryville looked more like an oversized toy, leading to its perception as a novelty rather than a serious contender in the trucking industry. While the Emeryville was part of International's efforts to expand into the West Coast market, where larger and more imposing trucks were favored, its design ultimately did not resonate with drivers who preferred more spacious and ergonomically designed cabs. As a result, the International DCO 405 Emeryville became an example of how ambitious design can sometimes lead to quirky outcomes that prioritize uniqueness over practicality, earning it a spot among the silliest trucks of its time. Number 17. The Ford N-Series trucks, particularly known for their distinctive slant-nose design, are often viewed as silly due to their unusual and somewhat awkward aesthetics. The sloping front end gives these trucks a turtle-like appearance, which many drivers found unappealing. This unconventional styling was intended to improve aerodynamics, but instead it resulted in a vehicle that looked more like a caricature of a truck than a serious workhorse. The narrow cab of the N-Series also contributed to its impracticality, making it cramped and uncomfortable for drivers, which further diminished its popularity. Unlike other trucks of the era that featured more spacious and functional designs, the Ford N-Series layout prioritized style over comfort, leaving many drivers feeling constrained. The combination of its quirky appearance and lack of driver-friendly features led to a perception that these trucks were more of a novelty than a practical choice for heavy-duty work. Number 16, the Freightliner Powerliner, produced in the 1970s, is often considered one of the silliest trucks due to its extravagant design and impractical features that ultimately led to its short-lived production. Known for its massive size, the Powerliner was equipped with the largest displacement diesel engine ever offered in a regular production highway truck, a 600-horsepower Cummins KTA 600 with an astonishing 1,150 cubic inches, 19 liters. While this power was impressive, it came at a cost. The truck's fuel economy was abysmal, averaging only 3 to 4 miles per gallon, which was particularly detrimental during the 1973 energy crisis when fuel prices skyrocketed and a national speed limit of 55 miles per hour was imposed. Moreover, the timing of its introduction could not have been worse. Just as it hit the market, rising fuel costs and regulatory changes rendered such a fuel-hungry beast impractical for most operators. As a result, despite its initial appeal to owner-operators looking for high-performance trucks, the Freightliner Powerliner quickly became an anachronism, leading to its discontinuation after only a few years. Its combination of outrageous power, quirky design, and unfortunate timing solidified its status as one of the silliest trucks in automotive history. Number 15. The Mack F-Series trucks, produced from 1962 to 1980, are often considered silly due to their tall, narrow cab-over design and squared-off front, which gave them an awkwardly skinny appearance compared to other trucks of the time. This unique aesthetic choice was intended to maximize cargo space and improve maneuverability, but it resulted in a vehicle that looked more like a cartoonish caricature than a serious heavy-duty truck. The F-Series narrow cab created a visual imbalance, making the truck appear top-heavy and unstable, which led to jokes among truck enthusiasts about its pencil-like proportions. Additionally, during a time when other manufacturers were focusing on more robust and aesthetically pleasing designs, the Mack F-Series stood out for all the wrong reasons. Its quirky look and less-than-ideal driving experience made it less appealing to operators who sought both functionality and style in their trucks. As a result, the Mack F-Series is remembered not just for its role in trucking history, but also for its amusingly unconventional design that left many scratching their heads in bemusement. Number 14. The Brockway 361, produced during the 1970s, is often considered a silly truck due to its boxy cab and odd grille design, which contributed to an ungainly profile that many found unappealing. The truck's squared-off appearance was a departure from the more aerodynamic shapes that were becoming popular in the trucking industry, leading to a look that seemed outdated even when it was new. This boxy design not only gave the Brockway 361 a clunky aesthetic, but also made it appear less streamlined and more cumbersome on the road, resembling a large, rolling block rather than a sleek vehicle. While the Brockway brand was known for its durability and ruggedness, the 361's awkward proportions detracted from its appeal. The tall and narrow cab created a visual imbalance that made the truck look somewhat top-heavy, further emphasizing its lack of aerodynamic efficiency. Drivers often joked about its brick-like shape, which contrasted sharply with the more modern and stylish trucks of its era. Number 13, the Diamond T Model 921, produced in the 1950s, is often regarded as a silly truck due to its odd, elongated cab and hood design, which gave it an exaggerated, almost dragster-like appearance for a heavy-duty vehicle. While the Model 921 was known for its durability and ruggedness, its unique proportions created a visual profile that seemed more suited for a racing vehicle than a traditional truck. The elongated front end and narrow cab made it look awkward on the road, resembling a caricature of what a heavy-duty truck should be. This unusual design choice was intended to enhance aerodynamics and improve visibility, but instead it resulted in a truck that many found comical rather than imposing. The elongated shape contributed to an impression of instability, as if the truck might tip over at any moment. Drivers and onlookers often commented on its dragster-like look, which contrasted sharply with the more robust and muscular designs of its contemporaries. Number 12. The White Motor Company 3000 COE, produced in the 1950s, is often regarded as a silly truck due to its notably boxy and compact design, characterized by a stubby nose that gave it a cramped appearance. While the Cabover engine COE layout was functional and allowed for better maneuverability and cargo space, the overall aesthetic of the 3000 made it look more like a toy than a serious workhorse. The short, squat profile and angular lines contributed to an impression of awkwardness, as if the truck was struggling to find its place among more traditionally styled, heavy-duty vehicles. Furthermore, while functionality was prioritized in its design, the White 3000 COE's quirky looks overshadowed its practical benefits. In an era when trucks were evolving to become more powerful and visually imposing, the 3000's boxy shape and stubby nose set it apart in a way that was not always flattering. This combination of an unconventional design and cramped interior ultimately contributed to its reputation as one of the silliest trucks of its time, leaving a lasting impression on those who encountered it on the road. Number 11. The Mack Model. AC Bulldog, produced from 1916 to 1938, is often considered silly due to its towering engine, chain drive, and squat cab, which combined to give it an awkwardly ancient look even during its time. While the truck earned its Bulldog nickname for its toughness and durability, particularly during World War I, it also sported a design that many found comical. The prominent, blunt front end dominated the truck's profile, while the cab's squat appearance made it seem disproportionate and cumbersome. The towering engine placement, combined with the chain drive system that was less common by the time of its production, contributed to the truck's outdated aesthetic. Instead of appearing sleek and modern, the Mack AC looked more like a relic from an earlier era of trucking. Its design featured a radiator located behind the engine, which was unusual for the time and added to its quirky character. This configuration not only affected airflow, but also contributed to a visual imbalance that made the truck appear unwieldy. Number 10. The GMC Astro 95, produced from 1969 to 1987, is often considered a silly truck due to its bulky, rounded cab that appeared squeezed, giving it a toy-like appearance. While the Astro 95 was designed with a futuristic vision in mind, its execution quickly became dated, making it look more like a whimsical creation than a serious heavy-duty vehicle. The rounded contours of the cab, combined with its compact proportions, created an awkward silhouette that many found unappealing. This design choice led to a perception that the Astro 95 was less about functionality and more about style, but unfortunately, it missed the mark on both fronts. The cab's dimensions made it feel cramped for drivers who often had to contend with limited space and visibility. Instead of exuding the robust presence expected from a heavy-duty truck, the GMC Astro 95 resembled a child's toy truck, cute but impractical for serious work. Number 9. Well, The International Transtar Co 4070A, produced in the 1970s, is often seen as a silly truck due to its distinctive design and proportions that seem to blend practicality with an awkward aesthetic. The Transtar featured a cab-over engine layout that provided ample cargo space but resulted in a tall and narrow appearance that many found unappealing. Its elongated front end and high cab gave it a somewhat cartoonish look, making it appear less like a serious heavy-duty truck and more like a whimsical creation. Despite its shortcomings in visual appeal, the Transtar Co 4070A was known for its durability and performance, often praised for its powerful engines and reliability on long hauls. However, the combination of its awkward proportions and outdated styling led to its reputation as one of the silliest trucks of its time. This unique blend of functionality and eccentric design ensured that the International Transtar Co 4070A left a lasting impression on those who encountered it on the road, solidifying its place in automotive history as a memorable and somewhat amusing heavy-duty truck. Number 8. The Peterbilt Pacemaker 352, produced from 1969 to 1980, is often viewed as a silly truck due to its unique design and proportions that seem to blend innovation with an awkward aesthetic. While the Pacemaker was celebrated for its durability and performance, its cab-over engine (COE) layout featured a distinctly narrow and tall profile that many found unappealing. The truck's elongated shape and relatively small cab created a visual imbalance, making it appear somewhat top-heavy and cartoonish compared to its contemporaries. Despite these shortcomings, the Peterbilt Pacemaker 352 remained in production for over a decade, highlighting its durability and reliability on long hauls. However, its unique appearance and practical limitations ultimately solidified its status as one of the silliest trucks in automotive history, leaving a lasting impression on those who encountered it. Number 7. The Ford C-Series, produced from 1957 to 1990, is often described as a silly truck due to its awkwardly short cab and wide front, which contributed to a somewhat clownish appearance. While the C-Series was popular for its practicality and versatility as a medium-duty cab-over truck, its design did not resonate with everyone. The combination of a compact cab and a broad front end created an unusual silhouette that many found less than appealing. In summary, the Ford C-Series is remembered not only for its utility, but also for its distinctive and somewhat silly design that combined functionality with an awkward aesthetic, securing its place in automotive history as a memorable medium-duty truck. Number 6. The Autocar U7144T, originally designed as a military truck during World War II, is often considered silly due to its massive size, slab-sided cab, and peculiar grille shape, which collectively gave it a tank-like appearance. This truck was part of a family of heavy-duty, four-wheel drive vehicles developed for the U.S. Army, and while it was built for functionality and durability, its design choices led to an image that many found amusing. The U7144T's towering stature and bulky proportions made it look more like a piece of military hardware than a conventional truck. The slab-sided cab contributed to a boxy aesthetic that lacked the sleek lines typically associated with more modern vehicles. This design choice not only emphasized its size, but also created an impression of clumsiness, as if the truck was more concerned with brute strength than elegance. Number 5. The GMC Cracker Box, produced in the 1960s, is often viewed as a silly truck due to its small, square, cab-over design and odd proportions that made it uncomfortable for drivers. Nicknamed Cracker Box for its compact and stubby appearance, the cab measured only 48 inches from front to back, giving it a distinctly tight and cramped feel. This design choice, while allowing for a shorter wheelbase and longer trailers, resulted in a vehicle that looked more like a toy than a serious heavy-duty truck. Number 4. The International Loadstar Freightliner, produced in 1962, is often regarded as a silly truck due to its bizarre high-set windshield paired with extra windows below it, which allowed drivers to see down in front, but resulted in a peculiar, bug-eyed appearance. This design choice was intended to enhance visibility, making it easier for drivers to navigate tight spaces and see obstacles directly in front of the vehicle. However, the execution led to a look that many found more amusing than functional. In summary, while the International Loadstar Freightliner was designed with visibility in mind, its peculiar styling and bug-eyed look ultimately overshadowed its practical benefits. This blend of functionality and eccentric design secured its status as one of the silliest trucks of its time, leaving a memorable mark on automotive history. Number 3. The Marmon Harrington Cabover, produced in the 1940s, is often considered a silly truck due to its boxy cabover design and its peculiar handling characteristics. Originally designed for off-road applications, these trucks featured a distinctive and somewhat clunky appearance that many found unappealing. The cab's squared-off shape, combined with its high stance, gave it a bulky look that detracted from the streamlined aesthetics typically associated with trucks of that era. Despite its intended purpose for military and off-road applications, the Marmon Harrington Cabover's awkward proportions and handling quirks led to a lack of popularity among drivers. While it was built to be durable and capable in tough conditions, its design choices ultimately overshadowed its functional benefits. The combination of a boxy aesthetic and practical limitations solidified the Marmon Harrington Cabover's reputation as one of the silliest trucks of its time, leaving a memorable impression on those who encountered it. Number 2, the Kenworth Bullnose, produced in the 1950s, is often regarded as a silly truck due to its odd, rounded cabover design that contrasted sharply with the classic long hood trucks of the era. This distinctive styling featured a bulbous front end that gave the Bullnose a compact and somewhat cartoonish appearance. While the rounded shape was intended to enhance aerodynamics, it instead resulted in a look that many found peculiar and less imposing compared to the more traditional designs popular at the time. The Bullnose's compact size and unique proportions made it stand out on the road, but not always in a flattering way. Drivers and enthusiasts often described its appearance as strange, likening it to a toy truck rather than a serious heavy-duty vehicle. The rounded cab, while functional in terms of visibility, contributed to an overall aesthetic that felt out of place among its contemporaries, which typically featured longer hoods and more aggressive styling. Number 1. The Kenworth W900 Anteater, particularly known in Australia as the T600, emerged in the late 1980s and gained popularity throughout the 1990s. Its distinctive design featured a sloped hood and a set-back front axle, which contributed to its aerodynamic profile. While the truck was celebrated for its fuel efficiency and improved maneuverability compared to traditional long-nosed trucks, it also garnered attention for its unusual appearance. In summary, while the Kenworth W900 Anteater was innovative and efficient, its unconventional design led to mixed perceptions. Some viewed it as a practical advancement in trucking technology, while others saw it as a quirky departure from traditional truck aesthetics. This blend of functionality and eccentricity solidified its place in trucking history as both an effective vehicle and an emblem of unique design.